Hi guys, this is Vanessa and this is episode 5 of my job search journey. Thank you so much for coming back and tuning in. I just want to apologize for last week. It was a very big week last week, which is why I took some time to reflect. I had 3 interviews and it took a lot of energy, but it's definitely positive, so I'm taking the best out of it. And I wanted to come back this week with a more constructive episode. And so I decided to wait it out last week and come back to you this week with more positive feedback. Also, I really want to thank you for all the comments, all the feedback you've been giving me. I recently got feedback from one of our viewers who requested me to be a little more personal. So that's really what I'm going to try and do today with you. I'm going to talk about my interviews that I had last week, and I'm really going to detail what each one consisted in. Going to try and bring out the most positive points for each one, and then go from there. And I will also give you another episode this week because I missed last week. So I figure another topic can be covered this week and we can go ahead from there because I've been resourced. Last week was really intense. I think preparing for interviews is something that you have to get back into progressively. There's a process to follow. You have to be aware. You have to really analyze the company. You have to get to know who are the key players in the company. You have to know what the company is about, where it was founded, and also a lot about the position at the same time. And then examining your CV and comparing it to what's on the website. That's how you can best see how to complement. How to better support your interview themes. At least in my experience, that's worked for me a lot. When I prepare for an interview, I tend to spend a lot of time, even now with thanks to YouTube and I mean, there's so many there's so many resources now. You can easily prepare in like 2-3 hours just by finding the key players on LinkedIn. So like the CEO, maybe the recruiter, or like the manager you'll potentially work for, and then going through the About section of the website. Also, what I think is useful is going through your CV and comparing your CV with what the job posting offers and really see how your skills complement the job post. Those 3 things really have helped me. So last week was very overwhelming, just to get a little more personal. I had 3 interviews. I had an interview on Tuesday, I had another interview on Thursday, and one on Friday. And these 3 interviews were for 3 separate companies. All of them were project management related, so it's definitely what I wanted, but in completely different contexts. So we're just going to go through each one. That's what I'll do with you today. So the first one, I was very lucky. It's a very small company. I met with the CEO. I'm going to say James for the purpose of this video in case he wants to remain anonymous. But basically, he has a small company. He's the CEO. This company has 10 employees right now. They've been in existence for 2 years, so it's really niche. And they're offering a CRM software. So they need project managers who would specialize in this CRM, so really get to know the CRM, the software, and really understand how to sell, but not only sell, really evaluate how this CRM will have an impact on the company who is interested or to the client who is interested. So it's also a lot of business analysis. It's both sales and business analysis combined. So it's a more complex role, and also this role would be from scratch. It would be totally designed according to my needs. At least that's what James told me. And so it's definitely a more personal approach. I understand that I'm going to be working very closely with him. It's a very small reality. And so all these factors I've been kind of evaluating in my head, and to be honest with you, it's always hard to tell from like the first interview, even though this interview lasted an hour and a half. I was at a cafe. It was like very informal. It felt like a good conversation, good discussion for us to get to know each other. But it's hard to always tell exactly how this is going to go, and I am fearful about working so closely with the CEO and not having extra support or not having that like freedom and that autonomy. So it was definitely a good test for me to sort of evaluate what is important to me and how I can fully fulfill my role or how I can pursue my career in this company. So that was my first interview. At the end of the interview, I felt good. I'm gonna get some feedback next week. This week actually. We're already this week. And then we'll slowly go from there. So I'm waiting for the feedback before giving you guys an update. Interview experience number 2. My second interview experience was a video conference. So this was interesting. I could do it in the comfort of my home right here. And it was with the recruiter for a really big company in AI. So the company is called Covio. If you're interested in AI, I recommend it. Check it out. They have amazing software. In this case, it's all about making business personal. So their premise is to really refine search and data up to a point where it's going to be so detailed, guys. We're not even going to be able to hide anything. It's quite impressive, actually. I was very impressed with all their products, all the tools, and they're looking to hire 200 people this year in Montreal. They're super up and coming, full of millennials. The experience with the video conference was interesting because it was definitely a first interview. So these kinds of companies have very structured processes. This is the first of 4 interviews, or at least minimum of 4. And it's usually very general at the beginning, but I felt like the exchange was good. And in this case, I was happy because I could actually see the recruiter. It's not just impersonal on the phone. There's definitely that dimension to it. And this role would be a project management role, but in a more marketing setting. On a personal level, I don't know if I'm ready for project management in AI. As much as I love technology, I love software, I feel like AI is also a next level. And I feel like this role for Covio would be more of internal management and less client-faced. And I really want to stick to working with clients. It's really what I love. It's really what I thrive on. So mixed feelings about that. And then the third interview was on Friday. It was also a more general interview. It was with a project management consultancy firm, which is super interesting. They originate from France. They're called P-Cubed, and they have an office here in Montreal. Offices all around the world, and with all different types of project management consultants in all different types of industries. So everything from aerospace to engineering to manufacturing and computer science. So all different types of industries, which is really interesting as a project manager to be able to work on multiple projects in different industries and learn different skills that way. Talk to people from different backgrounds. So for me, that was probably the most interesting one. I'm still waiting to hear back on further feedback, but it was a good initial interview, and I got a good feeling on this perspective, and it definitely aligns more with what I'm going for. So I was very happy about that. Again, even for preparing for interviews, going through the motions, really being, prepared to have those answers ready. I think it's also so important to get to know yourself. And what's great about doing interviews, although back-to-back can be hard, what's been really rewarding for me is it's really helped me narrow down what exactly it is I'm looking for, and I'm able to prepare questions for them, because you also want to make sure to interview them. When you're doing interviews with different companies, you want to answer questions, but you always want to be ready to ask the company questions, because you really want to make a choice that's good for you and for them. It has to be reciprocal. It has to be long term, ideally. So that was the biggest takeaway for me, is really solidify these questions and really be prepared for any type of answer. So that's that. Thank you so much again for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode because it's been going so fast. So be sure to comment, subscribe, give me feedback. I really, really appreciate the feedback, guys, and thank you so much for tuning in again. Thanks. Bye.